Hello everyone, and welcome back to Network 27. I'm Alderman Walter Burnett, Alderman of the 27th Ward. The winter months are coming. We had a great summer this summer. I'd like to thank everyone who came to the picnic this year. As you all can see, we're on a construction site, so it may get a little noisy here. I may have to raise my voice. We may have to raise our voice. But there's some exciting things going on the west side of Chicago. And I have with me here today a couple of guests. One is Brad McConnell. Brad is the president of Accion, CEO of Accion. And we have Angela Taylor. And Angela is with the East Garfield Park Community Council.
It's the Garfield Park Community Council.
The Garfield Park Community Council, okay. And then we also have with us Steve DeBretto. And Steve is with the Industrial Council of Nearwest Chicago.
That's us.
Right, and you are the
executive director.
The executive director, fantastic. Well, thank you all for coming on. So people, I know you probably wonder, why is he sitting on a construction site where a lot of things are going on, a lot of building is happening? Well, it's because we're at the site of the hatchery. The hatchery, I'm going to allow them to explain what the hatchery is. But before I do that, let me just introduce our guests and let them tell you a little bit about themselves. Brad, why don't you tell the audience, who is Brad? Real loud.
First of all, thank you, Alderman, for having all of us here. We're clearly very excited to be here on the site of the hatchery, which we'll talk about in a minute. I am from Accion, Chicago, and Accion is a mission-driven nonprofit that will be moving here, and we'll talk about why in a little bit. Our responsibilities are to provide neighborhood entrepreneurs with whatever they need to help grow good businesses. And so we serve entrepreneurs throughout Illinois and Indiana, but we primarily focus on the south, the west, and the southwest sides of Chicago. And we do that by providing capital and coaching and connections in any way that a business needs in order for them to grow and create the jobs and wealth that they're trying to create in their own community. So we love that work, and we're able to do a lot more of it from here, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Fantastic. So when you say capital, that means money.
It does. It means
money,
loans.
dollar signs, loans. Okay. All right, fantastic. And we also have Angela. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience and tell them a little bit about you and what you do.
As our Alderman says, I'm Angela Taylor. I work with the Garfield Park Community Council, where I serve as coordinator for the community gardens in the community that feed into our very own community neighborhood market, the Garfield Park Neighborhood Market. We're very excited about this hatchery project because our neighborhood market will be becoming a part of the hatchery. We will, in the spring of 2019, be opening our season right here on the newly built plaza at the hatchery. So I'm very excited as a community resident. I'm glad to see development going on in my community.
So Angela, how long have you been living here in the community?
I was born and raised here on the west side. I've been living in Garfield for 25 years, but I've lived in Austin and I grew up in Humboldt. So I'm a west sider.
West side?
Yes,
west side. Okay. All right. And Steve DeBretto, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
Sure. Thanks for having me here. I'm the director at the Industrial Council of Nearwest Chicago, or ICNC, and we run one of the oldest and largest small business incubators in the country. So an incubator is a place where you can start a business or grow a business, get all the technical assistance you need, and most importantly, do it in the middle of a community of other entrepreneurs that you can both contribute to and benefit from the sort of support network that you have when you're around 100 other people doing the same kind of thing. And so we've been doing that since the early 1980s, and one of the things we'll talk about in a moment with the hatchery is why we're excited to be expanding into this area and doing it with these partners.
Fantastic. So it's a funny thing, Steve. I sometimes tell people that back in the 80s, when I was a youngster in my 20s, me and some friends was trying to start a business, a rose business, right? And we didn't have an office. So we went to the ICNC building and rented a little bitty office space that we could have an address where the rose business, the people who was importing, we were importing roses from Ecuador, so we can like have a place where we could say we had an office and we had the loading docks and all that other stuff.
You were one of our first incubator tenants. I'm happy to hear.
Of course, you know, the business fell out, right? We fell apart, but that was our first try, right? Yeah, but myself and actually a bunch of county commissioner aides were trying to partner up on some stuff back in the day. That was so funny. But hey, we got ICNC, which has an incubator on Damon and Carroll, where small businesses come in, get a space, grow, get a bigger space, grow, move out, and build a building somewhere, whatever the case may be, and then get a lot of technical support. Then we have the Garfield Park Community Council, which works in the community with the community to try to make the community better, but been involved with the gardens and food and trying to make sure we deal with this, this food desert over in the community, bringing fresh fruits and vegetables to the community, which you all do right here at this site where we are on Lake and Kedzie in the summertime every week, right?
It's twice a month.
Twice a month.
The second Saturday every month. The second Saturday in October is coming up. We will be on the northeast corner.
Right.
Just closing out the season, but come the spring, we will be back here on the southeast corner on the Hatchery Plaza.
Fantastic. So my wife, you know, we come here,
Yes.
I end up grabbing bags of greens.
That's
and
right.
all that other stuff. I don't mind grabbing them and carrying them as long as I have to cook them. I'm cool.
Well, we send you with some value-added stuff too, like pickles.
That's right.
And cha-cha.
And coffee.
Yes.
Coffee and some cookies.
Yes.
A lot of great stuff there.
Yes.
Yeah,
and all of it is stuff that's stemming up out of the community, and the vendors that are at our market will be afforded the opportunity and the benefits of working with Accion and ICNC to help grow their small businesses.
Fantastic.
So it's exciting.
Great. And then Accion is the one who helps to create small businesses, help them to get them, pull themselves up by the bootstrap and start out and grow with some cash.
That's right.
So tell me, how did all you guys come together, and how did this hatchery thing, where did this come from?
Well, the biggest segment in our incubator is small food and beverage manufacturers. So companies baking cookies, baking bread, roasting coffee, maybe pressing juice. And a few years back, we realized that we were either full when they wanted to come to us for space, or if we had a space, it would cost them $80,000 or $100,000 to build it out and make it food grade so that they could pass a health inspection. So we decided to partner with Accion Chicago, who we've been working with for a long time, and who also works with a lot of the same kind of businesses, to say, let's see if we can address
It sounds like everybody's excited that we're here today, right?
And I don't blame you. It's an exciting project.
Including 100 people who are working here.
That's right. Go ahead.
So when we found this, and we talked to the Garfield Park Community Council and the Garfield Park Garden Network, we said, this is the place to do it. It's at the steps to the CTA's Green Line. It's got plenty of room for parking and for trucks that need to come in and out. And so we started putting this project together. You know, the most exciting thing, I think, probably for all of us, is that as these companies grow, they're predicted to create about 900 jobs in the first 5 years of the hatchery's operation. And that ability to start and grow your own business, create some wealth for you and your family, and then to actually go ahead and hire people, that's really the community development that I think all of us are in it for. The hatchery is how we do it, but it's that community development that's really the why that we do.
Fantastic. So Angela, how did the community get engaged in this hatchery?
After realizing, Alderman, that the most important thing for us as a community organizing group is to engage the community. Things that we know are happening and going on in the community, to reach out to the residents, to provide them information, give them facts about what's going on. So we raised the campaign. It was January. It was a mild winter, but we walked the impact area around this corner, 4 blocks in each direction, north and south, east and west, and all the cross street. And we collected signatures and we provided flyers for residents to come out and meet with us, with these partners, ask questions, learn about it so they would know what's going on. Not just wake up one day, driving down the street and say, where did this building come from? How did it get here? So that's a part of the work that we've been doing as the council to try to keep the community as informed as possible. Wanting the community to realize that we are a small group, a group of 5, and all of our responsibilities is not just community outreach, that may be too, but I feel that we did our due diligence to the community by actually knocking on doors, collecting signatures and phone numbers, email address, and continuing to post on our website about what's going on and the support that this partners are bringing to the community.
We had several meetings.
Yes.
We had several meetings, and we appreciate all your efforts and all your help. You know, ever since I was alderman, this lot has been vacant. And I'm going on 24 years, right? I don't know how long it was before there was something built on this property. Probably after the riots, there wasn't anything built on this property. And so to have something built right here on the west side, you know, on a spot that's been vacant so long, is just such a, you know, inspiring and refreshing.
It should be
thing in our
energizing.
community.
It should be energizing for the community because I feel it's a catalyst. It's going to spur more activity to come. When people see that here in Garfield, we got something being built and something is happening, everybody going to want to come.
All right.
See if they can get a lot. See if they get a corner. See if they get a room in the hatchery. And to me, that's exciting to have positive movement inside the community. It just says a lot about the health of the community. When everybody's all kind of broke down and laying around, that says something about the health of the community too. And I think this is a shot in the arm that's going to help us start to heal.
Yeah, and it will attract more economic development in our neighborhood.
That's
because
right.
You have more people coming to the neighborhood, coming here, maybe shopping at places, maybe want to live here, whatever the case may be. A lot of things can happen from that. So Brad, you know, so in your former life, you've done a lot of things, but one of them used to work for the Department of Planning, right? And so you know how these deals come together, right? So the city is involved with this.
Right.
The mayor is like, he put his hands all over this thing and trying to help get this thing built. All he would do is talk to folks about the hatchery. You know, all these guys running around here getting paid $30 and $40 an hour, right? I'm thinking about keeping this vest on and making me some money, man. But this stuff is not cheap.
No.
All this equipment. How much does it cost to build this building? How much of an investment is coming to this community?
This is a $34 million project. 34.
34 million?
$34 million.
$34 million on the west side on Kedzie and Lake Street.
That's right.
Wow, $34 million. Okay, and many people are working, and as you can see, there's a lot of folks working, and there's a very diverse group of people. There's several folks from the community that's working here, African-American contractors, Latino contractors, women contractors. So you all you made sure that you all put forth an effort to be very inclusive. Tell us about that part.
Well, there's a minimum threshold we have to meet, just first of all, as a matter of partnering with the city, being in the 27th Ward, that's what you have to do. But we're both mission-driven nonprofits here, and we've got great partners, and Angela, who helps us find good people in the community we're working in here. So we want to do far better than that. Like, the minimum's not good enough. We want to find as many people as we possibly can who have the needed skills to come in and build this thing out. Because yes, $34 million is a lot of money to be putting into one particular set of plots on the west side of Chicago. And we want to get the full value out of that, not just when the building opens, which we'll talk about, but right now, when the building's getting built. And that's what we're doing.
So $34 million. Where did $34 million come from? $34 million is a lot of money, man.
A lot of money. So the city helped, yes, you said. Maybe one way to look at it is the city provided seed money, get it started, right? It created confidence in the financing marketplace that we could actually pull something like this off at the corner of Lake and Kedzie, right next to the Green Line station, as Steve had said. But there's still another $27 million to raise in there, right? So it took us over 2 years to raise the rest, and it's a combination of grants from really good partners, plus debt, which we got to pay back, plus all of the equity that we're putting in as the joint venture partners in order to fill in the rest of the gaps. So we don't take that obligation lightly. We've got a lot of people to pay back our debt service, but at the same time, we're able to build a network of people who care about all of the above. Building out community where that community development's needed, food, and having interesting food companies we build, entrepreneurship, and helping small business owners build businesses, and all the things we're doing here related to the way that we're going to use the plaza out there for healthy food in a food desert. All of that came together in a way that allowed us to raise all the money that was necessary. But, you know, it's hard work, but it was fun.
So you came together, you put this together, and I know people are still like, I still don't know what the hell is a hatchery, right? Like, what are they talking about? So tell the people, what is a hatchery? What is a hatchery?
So when you go to the grocery store, whether it's Mariano's or Trader Joe's or Whole Foods or wherever you shop, sometimes you'll pick up a protein bar or a new flatbread or something that you want to cook that night, and you'll say, huh, it says right here made in Chicago, and it's a brand that you've never heard of. Where did that come from? Usually what happens is people are doing their baking or cooking at home, and then people will say, that's good, you should sell it, and they'll try to figure out how to sell it. Once you start selling it, you've got to go to a licensed, inspected, insured facility. Often they go to a shared kitchen. You can pay $20 or $25 an hour to do that, and that's great. Once you learn how to get your first account at a grocery store, pretty soon you're ready for your own space. And then where do you go? I talked about the problems for the upfront cost to build out a space that you've got, and all the other things that you have to learn to run a food business in particular. So the hatchery is an incubator. It's that first place where you can come. You can grow your business from one account or two up to a couple $1 million business. And most importantly, probably hire the first 10 or 15 people that are going to work for your business while you're doing it. So you can get into Whole Foods all across the region rather than just right down the street. Or you can get into Walgreens all around the region rather than just down the street. So a lot can happen in a couple of years if you put together the right, as Accion says, connection, coaching, capital. But you also need a place to do that, right? So we're doing that all in the same place, and that's what the hatchery is going to be.
So the hatchery is like an incubator for food businesses.
Exactly. You won't be here forever, but you'll be here in that crucial phase where you really need some support and a network of people to help you outgrow it. After this, you might buy your own factory somewhere, or you might go any number of ways, but you can stay here in this place for the first couple of years while you really need to grow your business.
We tried to design this in a way that tries to meet each entrepreneur who wants to build a food and beverage business where they are. So there's one particular place, which is going to be right over here, where there's shared kitchens, and there's 5 of those, and you just pay those by the hour, right? This is just barely getting to your maybe first and second contract. But once you've got beyond that, you may want your own space in order to grow further, and so therefore there's either a small kitchen you can rent or a medium kitchen which you can rent. And the spaces can be fitted out with those 2 different sizes. Obviously the small kitchens will be cheaper than the medium kitchens, and so you can choose as an entrepreneur what's right for you. It's the hourly rate in the shared kitchen, or the small kitchen, which I'll rent for a year, or the medium kitchen, which I'll rent for a year, just for my own private space. And as you grow, we'll grow with you until you get to the point where you've grown out of this place, in which case you'll go get your own space, and the next guy and the next gal will come in and replace you in the way that incubators are meant to work.
So tell me, what's going to be in this space for the community? How is the community going to be involved in this space?
There's a lot going on here, so we'll try to just rattle these off real quick, and then we'll talk a little more detail after that. I'm going to leave Angela to talk about the great space we're going to have outside, so I'll just focus on the inside, right? So it's all of the above. One, the kitchens, which we've just talked about, and we're going to be working very hard to find as many West Side food and beverage entrepreneurs as we can to have them get first dibs at getting into these kitchens, and then we'll fill in the rest with folks from wherever they come from. So that's number one, small businesses who are trying to build good food and beverage businesses. Number two, what we do. Accion is going to be moving here to take the wing that's over there right off camera, where any business in any industry can come in and get assistance from us with a loan, with free coaching, with help to get connected to whoever you might need in order to grow your business. We do that on site too. On top of that, the Hatchery Chicago small staff who's going to be managing the incubator, they're going to be located here too, and they have lots of food specific training courses, both for people who want to build a business and for people who just want to be able to be a good worker in a business that is food and beverage. On top of that, we've got 2 different workforce development programs which will be running out of this space.
So a job program.
2 of those, right? And those job programs will be focused on 2 different things. And that's will be based in the space. One is helping people prepare from the community to get jobs at these growing small businesses who are in here. It's the 900 jobs that Steve mentioned a minute ago. We want as many of those to go to people who actually live here as possible. Jump on the green line, walk to work, whatever you can. And so that's working for the small businesses. The second job program will be for those who want to work not necessarily at these small businesses, but in a kitchen, in a high-end kitchen in the city of Chicago. And we're partnering with Chef Rick Bayless to do that.
Rick Bayless?
Rick Bayless.
Oh man, he's a very renowned chef.
He is.
Internationally. Yeah.
He is. So he has,
So he's coming to the west side.
our program is going to be run right out of this building.
So Rick Bayless is going to be on the west side.
Correct. It's not just Rick Bayless. He's the one who's the head of this, working with us to put this together. But he's also built a growing partnership with a number of other chefs in Chicago who run the best kitchens in town. All of which can't find enough good people to do the basic, hardcore, quick, effective cooking in their kitchens to get all that beautiful stuff out on the plates for people to eat all over the city. And they all want to get as many good people as they can from this program that Chef Bayless is going to help us design and implement.
So this program that Chef Bayless is going to have, he's going to teach folks how to cook and how to work in the kitchen,
Right.
but also try to get them jobs at some of their restaurants throughout the city.
That's right. So the idea is that they'll spend something like 3 months working really hard to build their skills to prepare for that. Then everybody who successfully completes that 3-month period, they're going to get placed in one of those high-end kitchens, and you get a month. Prove what you can do. As long as you do the job, you get hired. Simple as that.
Fantastic. So
And then, I think the best part is what Angela's going to be doing outside.
Well, we're going to be expanding our neighborhood market because this place is going to be full of entrepreneurs with food, which is going to gain food access for our community. It's not that grocery store model, but something similar. I want to say it's like a sample. These entrepreneurs may not have made it into a Trader Joe's or a Whole Foods, but you'll be able to come to the neighborhood market here in Garfield and be able to sample those products before they get to the store. So then when people are in the store, you're shopping next to somebody and they're locating that loaf of bread that's made in Chicago, and you could probably respond and say, yeah, I got that 2 years ago at the Garfield Park Neighborhood Market. That's not brand new. But this is the vision and how I see, and I really want to impress upon the community, everybody that's watching, this is ours. They've come and they've brought this to us. This is an opportunity that we need to seize and stand up and take our place. I know out there's a whole bunch of kitchen cooks making those wonderful holiday cakes and pies, making some awesome cookies, jams, and jellies. Come on down here to the hatchery. They got you. Let's come on out and show ourselves to the world. So Garfield Park can then become the food hub of Chicago that I know it already is.
fantastic. So I'm just thinking about that job.
I'm sorry, I just get real excited because the vision is there.
No, they need to just take that clip and make a commercial out of that right there. So it sounds like, so I know in order to get your money back for the loan, you got to rent out the spaces, right? But also, in order to give something back to the community, you have these workforce programs,
Right.
right? And, you know, I don't know if a lot of folks in Chicago know that Chicago is like the hub for restaurants, not just throughout the country. We have some of the best restaurants in the world now.
Absolutely.
A lot of folks are coming to the Fulton Market right now, where Rick Bayless has a restaurant,
Yep.
from all over the world just to go to the restaurant, just to taste the food. A lot of chefs that are working in these restaurants do a one-off from working in that restaurant, opening up other restaurants in the city. And like you said, each one of them are asking for people to work. They right now is getting so challenging for them to find people to work that they're putting it on Craigslist. Seriously, they put it on Craigslist to get folks to work. And the challenge is that a lot of people in our community don't understand that there's money working in the restaurants, right? They have a base salary, but folks make a lot of money off of tips. Some people walk away with making $70,000, $80,000 a year just working in a restaurant. A lot of people sleep on that, but they're good business. But it also puts them in a position. Most of the guys a lot of guys, if you go to them and ask them who own restaurants, how did you start your restaurant? Right? They'll tell you, I started working in a restaurant first.
I cooked for somebody else.
I cooked for somebody else. Right? I started as a busboy. Then I started cooking. Then I started maitre d', then, you know, and they learn all aspects of the business. The next thing you know, they own the business. They have their own restaurant. You know, I know some guys who used to, I can't remember all the restaurants' names, but I know over at La Scarrow.
Yep.
One of the partners at La Scarrow, the Hispanic guy, man, I know his name, but he used to work for Joy. Joy pulled him in and say, man, you know, be my partner. He's his partner. I think it's Armando. He's his partner, right? And if he wanted to, he can go off and start something else.
That's right.
And that restaurant, Stay Pack, and they have delicious dishes, and you know, and that's just one. But there's many others. I know some guys from the Rosebud.
Yep.
Chefs from cooks from the Rosebud. Started their own restaurants. I mean, all these big restaurants, these guys go off and start their own restaurants. So I think it's a great opportunity for folks to get into the culinary art industry because it's growing so fast. And a lot of people don't know that in some of these restaurants, one restaurant can employ over 200 people. So many jobs in these restaurants that's coming to our society that a lot of people aren't looking at. So I think that's great that you all had a workforce part, and I think it's great that you have a partner like Rick Bayless and his other partners who are continuously opening up restaurants, who continuously need people to work. And why go look for folks when you can create your own employees, which is a fantastic thing.
And look, let's be clear on this. These are hard jobs.
Oh yeah.
Right? I mean, you're going to go, whether it be running a small business, which is tough, right? Or working in a high-end kitchen, long hours, pays pretty good, but you know, you got to work really hard and you got to be very, very good at it. These are tough jobs, but for people who really want to work and want to build a good career or build a good business in which they're their own boss, trying to create a space that helps you do that. And I think that's exactly what Angela said. That's exciting.
I think for those of us who were around in the 90s and remember what happened in the craft beer industry, right? When people started shifting their spending to first Goose Island and all the other beers that cost $10 for a six-pack instead of $3 or $4, right? People were kind of looking around. That wasn't a fad. People are still doing that. And those are the beer makers. You know, Anheuser-Busch buys Goose Island a few years back. That's what's happening to small food producers right now. You look at Kellogg, ConAgra Brands, some of our other partners right here in the hatchery, they're looking around for small companies that they want to eventually buy. And so I think one of the messages of the hatchery to people who have their own small food businesses now is dream big, right? Because there's more to starting a business than just running it. You can have a family business and pass it down for generations if you want. Or you can build it up to a place where some investor might come around and buy it from you. And then you can sell that business for a good amount of money and go on to whatever the next project is that you want. this is a place also that we'll be able to put big Fortune 500 companies right next to neighborhood entrepreneurs so that they can share ideas, share resources, innovate together, and then there'll also be the investors and the others there to help make those things happen. So it really is about putting as much as we can in one place. You can go to different places and find all those pieces now, but there isn't a place where they all come together. And that's going to be, I think, the most exciting part about the hatchery.
So definitely we have to come back. I know that you all, when you're done, I know that you have a lot of equipment that you're gonna have here. Top of the line, cooking equipment, shelves and cabinets and utensils and all of those things so people can do their creative cooking, right? So we like to see that. And it's like you can have $1 million equipment and you don't have to pay $1 million for it to use it, right? So you can have the top of the line. I seen you got some of those grillers, which I would love to have one of those grillers at home. I can make me some McDonald's French fries. You know how they make the French fries? They throw them in there. But you can't have those at home, right? No. This is an opportunity for folks who go into the food truck business. They have to prepare a lot of that stuff somewhere. Right? Now, everyone don't have the space at home to do that. Right? So they need a space somewhere to go and prepare that food, whether you're cutting it up or, cooking it, pre-cooking it, or whatever the case may be, and then you put it in your truck and you go, or you baking it. Some food trucks sell baked goods, right? They don't bake them on the truck, right? They need somewhere to bake it. So this is a great place to be able to bake, have your food truck, and go out there and do your thing and make your money, right?
And part of the interesting part of the design of this building is we're trying to think about all of those different ways for somebody to build a business. So the docks have been designed in a way that both allow a really big semi to come in so that they can pick up multiple pallets of food from multiple entrepreneurs and then do distribution throughout the Midwest and throughout the country. And different docks are sized differently to allow a food truck to roll up and fill in real fast. Like get in, fill it, get out. And those dock sizes are totally different. I didn't know anything about this, by the way, until we started doing all this design work. Steve probably knew all this already.
Yeah, he did.
But it's fascinating. You got to think about all this stuff when you're putting the designs in place so that then when you get the crews out here to build it, you build it for all of those possibilities. And so we tried very hard to think about those things in advance. That's right.
Fantastic. So Brad, Accion is moving here. How many employees do you all have?
We'll move about 35 people over here.
So 35 people are going to move to the west side. Right? That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, you're opening up a business on the west side. You guys, hopefully you shop over here, eat over here, all of those things that people do in the areas where they work. Mm-hmm. I think that's fantastic. And maybe some restaurants will start popping up from out of the hatchery over here in the neighborhood. I think that's great.
I hope that I don't turn into somebody who weighs 350 pounds because I'm here around all these food entrepreneurs every day. I gotta start working out, I think. But I think there's a really important point here in which we mean it when we say that our mission is to help neighborhood entrepreneurs grow. Part of living that is to actually be in one of the neighborhoods we're seeking to serve. And so that's what we're gonna do. But it's very, very important for us as a nonprofit who serves small businesses in all industries to be very careful to try to serve the people who are around here the best that we can, right? And yes, everybody in Illinois and Indiana, we're helped, like at a moment's notice. But we would have failed if we come over here and we don't serve West Side small businesses best, right? Because they're our neighbors. We want to make sure that we're really intentional about that. So I'm going to have a very specific team who focuses on the area around us for just West Side neighborhoods so that we pay that particular attention to any entrepreneurs who are looking to grow a business of any kind here first. And then we'll make sure we take care of everybody else, right? But that's being good neighbors, and we need to do that right.
So when do you guys think this will be done?
We're going to be opening at the beginning of December.
The beginning of
December? So the first people will be moving in towards the end of this year.
Fantastic.
And then at the beginning of next year, it'll be filling up quickly.
Wow.
We sit here in this building and think, how's that going to happen? But the experts tell us
They can
we
do
got the
it.
hard hats on. It's going to get done.
That's great.
We'll have 8 kitchens ready to go, and then we're building out the rest over the subsequent weeks, so that in total there'll be 56 kitchens that'll be available for private renting. We will physically move our staff in right after the new year into the wing over there, but that space will be ready. We're just going to kind of make sure that we do it in stages. But yeah, you can come in December, we're ready to go, and then it'll get full real fast in the spring.
So 2 things. One, did not mention, you kind of alluded to some of your partners.
Yeah.
So can you tell us, you said Coagra and
Sure.
Kellogg's and who else? And these are like major food industries that you're talking about. Tell us some of the others.
It's a long list, and I'm going to ask
It's
Steve
a long
Angelo to make
list?
sure I don't miss any. But we're going to try to do this off the top of our heads here.
I would say the first thing I'd like to ask people to do is to go to the HatcheryChicago.com so you can see the full list, because we can't even name them all. But in terms of corporate partners, we've had Kellogg, Conagra Brands, Griffith Foods, Ingredient, and many others who've come in. There's also a long list of philanthropists who have helped us out. They look around, they see a lot of value in what we're doing, and they want to partner with us because of the job creation opportunities and the community development opportunities. So there's also room for more. So anybody who wants to support the project is welcome on board. The list is long, but it doesn't have to be complete.
Right.
There's always a chance for more people.
Yeah, one of those private foundations, just for example, the Prisker Travel Foundation is a really strong supporter. Frankly, the most important partner we have, to state what I hope is obvious, is the Garfield Park Community Council and the Garfield Park
community
Neighborhood Market.
itself.
That's the biggest partner we have, because they're here every day helping us figure all this out. On top of that, IFF is a really valuable partner for us.
So IFF is Illinois Facilities Fund.
That's where they started. They're actually just called IFF now, but yes, that's what
Oh yeah, they just call IFF now?
because they work throughout the Midwest, but they're serving as our owner's representative and has helped out with financing. So they're here every day working with our design build firm, which is white. I think we're giving them good PR for the helmets we're wearing here. And then on top of that, we have a number of financing partners. So there are a lot of really good organizations that put in new market tax credits and debts and all sorts of other crazy things in order to come up with the $34 million that we need. And that, of course, also includes, as we started, the city itself, who, with your help, have been enormously helpful under a number of different ways, including the financing.
Fantastic. So that was one. So the other thing that I wanted to ask, can you give us sort of a view of what all is going to be here? I know you alluded to a shared kitchen. You said something about your office. It's a lot of space here. What else is going to go on in here?
I'm going to try this, and you guys jump in here and help me out. So when you walk in the front door, right at the corner of Lake and Kedzie, coming off the bus, coming off the train, whatever, what you'll walk in and find is that you'll have an entryway that we hope is, first of all, welcoming. Second, trying to explain what on earth is going on around here, because there's a lot going on in this building. But thirdly, in that entranceway, we're designing it so that we reflect and celebrate the history of the West Side generally, but more specifically, Garfield Park and this particular site, like the buildings around here. There was a lot of manufacturing that was here, food manufacturing that was here 50, 60, 70 years ago. And I think it's really interesting. So we're trying to celebrate that when you walk in the building. And then you get to the front desk, and you've got kind of 3 different places to go. Off to your left is going to be Accion's offices, where any entrepreneur will come in and get assistance. That'll be that way. If you walk to your right, there'll be open space in which we'll have office space, conference rooms, things like that, where if an entrepreneur or we at Accion or the Hatchery Chicago folks need a space to gather, it'll be there. There'll be a small amount of office space just for the half dozen Hatchery Chicago employees who are running the incubator. But then the big part of it is you gotta walk behind that, and then you've got all the kitchens, right? So that's over my shoulder here, where 56 private kitchens.
56 kitchens?
56 kitchens, plus the 5 shared kitchens, and they're all kind of in one room, plus the training space we mentioned for those 2 programs, right? 2 job readiness programs. And then all the way in the back is where the storage will be, so cold and room temperature storage, and then the loading docks behind that. What I miss?
I think you got it all.
So within the plaza, of course.
And
So
we-
you walk into the plaza, will be right in front of you where the neighborhood market will be held, and hopefully be a nice space for, if the weather's decent, to spend time outside in front of the building too.
So when you say storage, cold storage,
Yeah.
so that means a freezer?
There's going to be freezers, there's going to be refrigerated storage, and just dry storage for your flowers and sugar and things like that. That space is really at a premium in the neighborhood. And so one of the benefits of being a business in the hatchery is that you can bring in your raw ingredients by the truckload, use it, and then have a place to store your finished product as they're waiting for pickup.
So how am I going to put my onions in the storage and Angela put her tomatoes in the storage? And I don't say, those my tomatoes, and not her and she say, no, those my onions.
You can think of it almost as the public storage facility.
Okay, so you're going to have
Everybody have their
everybody gonna have a little
You've got your own
space, so I don't have to worry
secured,
about Angela messing with my
Right.
onions.
No, that's not-
Right.
not gonna
You
be
knew I
allowed.
didn't have no flour yesterday. I'm baking cookies today.
So everybody gonna have their own space.
Right.
And,
And that's just part of the deal,
It's gonna
part of
be
the lease.
it's gonna be organized. So you're gonna have to have somebody to manage all of this stuff, right? Somebody's had to be on deck to like, okay, you take this space and cook in. So then people are responsible after they cook. They have to clean up behind themselves and stuff like that.
Yeah, running a facility like this is a big deal. Over at ICNC's Make City Incubator, we've got 10 people who just help us manage the facility, keep it clean and keep it running. This is a new facility, so we won't need that many people here. But the hatchery itself will be doing the leasing, welcoming new customers to the facility. And then ICNC is going to be managing the property, so we'll be keeping it clean and functioning. And then, as you said, the logistics in the back, there's going to be trucks coming and going, and so we'll be helping out the tenants as they figure out how to get their goods in and how to get them back out again.
Fantastic. So you don't know the exact date of the grand opening, do you?
Not yet.
You do not.
Roughly December 1st, thereabouts.
Roughly December 1st. So we want everybody to set some time aside so they can come and visit this great place. So I'm sure you're going to have walkthroughs. And so what I need to know, and my wife probably would like this, if you all had like cooking classes. Are you going to have cooking classes? Because she probably would want me to learn how to cook.
So we built out the shared kitchens as a great space for sort of a demonstration kitchen and training kitchen.
So you're going to train?
So while I don't imagine that anybody's going to want me to be teaching them a cooking class, anybody who is a teacher is welcome to come in and use that space to run their own classes. So Angela probably has a lot of
As a
people.
part of the neighborhood market, over the past winters, we have hosted cooking classes, cooking on a budget, cooking healthy and nutritious, and actually getting folks from the community in and hands-on participating in those type of cooking activities. And these are the type of things that we're hoping to come along with us into this new property here. So like I said, the Garfield Park neighborhood market is about to blow up. Next to the hatchery, we will have the awning at the front of the building that will be the station where our fresh produce will be sold, and we will have storage space, because as community gardens, what a market day looks like to us is getting up like at 4:30, harvesting, washing, packing, and then bringing all your produce over to set up the market. We can come on Friday and get all that done, put it back in our cooler space, and show up maybe an hour before the market shows up, bring the produce out and set it out. That's going to make it easier for us all that have put in a lot of sweat equity to bring people to this corner initially, and now to be elevating to the next level. That's going to be our little benefit in it, to help us to grow that way, and again to bring some positive activity to the community for the residents.
And I don't know if we mentioned that most of the goods that you all would be having at the market are things that you all have grown.
Right here in the community.
Right here in the community.
Right, you can pretty much walk to a community garden from this site and actually see where the produce actually comes from. So we're not importing fruits and vegetables from Indiana or Wisconsin. We're actually harvesting and growing these things. We start them from seedlings in our community greenhouse. We start our tomatoes, our onions, our greens, our cucumbers, everything. We have our own community greenhouse, and all of those seedlings that we start go out to the 32 community gardens that we have across the community, and we grow produce. We put them together collaboratively, and that's how we support ourselves.
And that takes talent. It takes hard work. It takes talent.
It is a lot of work.
So I gotta say, I mean, just to be honest, yes, we'll do the training courses and the test kitchen, but you got to bring a little bit of talent into this. So I want to make sure your wife's expectations are set appropriately. Like, you can't just walk in there
and think you're gonna come out with voila.
Yeah, you know, she tries to get me to cook during the holidays, and I'm like, honey, I'm like, you know, I used to cook when I was single. I had to. I said, you don't want me to have flashbacks of when I was single, right? So she
Pancakes and hot dogs?
Right. So she said, no, I don't. I want you to cook while you married. She don't like my jokes.
We will make no guarantee that the kitchen is going to be so good that we can teach you to cook. We'll make no such guarantee. Sorry.
All right, good deal, good deal. So tell me what you guys have coming up. Is there anything else you want to share with the audience? We got about 10 minutes left.
Okay, well, I want to say, plug in my partners here, to watch the website, the Garfield Park Community Council, as well as Accion's website and the Hatchery's website. So right now, virtually, the Hatchery is existing, and there are being courses provided to the community to start getting themselves prepared and ready to be able to champion the jobs that are going to be coming. So don't wait till the doors swing open. Be ready to step in the room and take your place once it does. But watch the websites and make sure that you engage yourself in the support services that they're providing already.
So you have to go to Hatchery, www.hatchery.
It's hatcherychicago.org,
hatcherychicago.org.
Accion,
Correct.
and Garfield Park Community Council.org.
And hatcherychicago.org. From there, you can get to all the other places and see all the trainings that are happening at ICNC until this building's actually ready.
Oh, so you're training at ICNC right now?
Yeah, I think what Angela just said is really important. We've been talking about all the great things that are going to happen once the hatchery opens. What we didn't mention is that there are jobs right now. I think ICNC, and we're the ones doing the workforce development, which is basically the job placement for this. We've got almost 24 jobs open, sometimes. And whether you are looking to be a baker or drive a truck or do production or work in a management role, you can often find companies right here in the neighborhood, and we're filling those jobs right now. So as Angela said, you don't need to wait until this place opens to work here. There are other companies right around the west side who need workers and who want to hire now.
So how would they contact you guys?
They can go to industrialcouncil.com.
Okay, and then is there a phone number? Some people may not.
Yeah, they can call and ask for me or anyone who answers at ICNC. Our number is 312-421-3941.
Fantastic.
And similarly, for any entrepreneur on the west side who's interested in growing their business, we're open for business now. I'm going back to the office now. We've got meetings all afternoon with good small business owners who are trying to grow and create jobs and wealth. And so that is accionchicago.org, ACCION, Chicago.org. And so when we get here, we'll obviously have that kind of food focus. But again, just to repeat, it's any business in any industry that we're trying to be helpful for. All those small businesses who want to create jobs in neighborhoods, we're here to help. And so that started a long time ago. We already have over 100 West Side small businesses that we're serving right now anyway, totally outside of the hatchery, and we'll do much, much more when we get here. And then finally, it's worth noting that the Hatchery Advisory Council, which is a group of people from the West Side who have come together as volunteers just to help us to think carefully about how best to make sure that the value that we're generating here is for the community. They have been meeting and are helping us to think through how to put together a really good community outreach event to continue the work that Angela's been working on for a very long time, just to prepare the community for all the good things that are happening here. So we're working on that. We'll have that ready, I think, late October, early November, in advance of the building opening, where there'll be another public discussion where people can come in and learn a lot more about it. But then after that, like you said, we're looking forward to, in early December, doing the official ribbon cutting, all the dignitaries and all of that. But we're not going to stop there. We want to have a number of ways to bring the community in through open houses and walkthroughs and creative ways like that, just so everybody really understands what's going on in here and get the benefit of it. So much more to come on that.
Fantastic. So this is very exciting. I just can't wait. So one of the things I did want to ask, Angela, when my wife and I were coming by some fruits and vegetables from you guys, you all will have like a little jazz band. You know, you always have a little jazz band over here, right?
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
So are you all gonna still have a jazz band?
Well, that's one of the things that builds out a farmer's market or a community event, to try to have some type of entertainment local. Of course, if we can get it, we want to broaden our horizons, because I think with the advancement in the hatchery coming, we're going to have that melting pot kind of in here now. So we want to be a little bit more diverse and be able to capture everything that's here in our Garfield Park community. But yeah, we got to keep the live entertainment.
A good deal, and that's always someone from the community who plays music.
Yes.
So it's all homegrown.
This is all homegrown.
All homegrown,
That's a new
West
phrase.
Side.
I had to write that down.
Homegrown?
Yes.
At the hatchery.
All
Yes.
right, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, again, guys, I want to thank you all very much for coming. Thank you all for all the hard work you've been putting in on this. You know, things aren't easy when you're doing something different, because people are fearful, they don't trust. You know, we went through all of those things with the
Yes.
community. When you're doing what's right, it always comes out good.
Yes.
So in this case, that's what we have. I mean, we've had some bang up meetings
Yeah.
at some points trying to get to this
Part of the
point,
deal.
right? But we're here. You know, we started as that song. Well, whose song is that? Drake. You say, is it Drake? I started at the bottom, now I'm here, right? We started with just an idea, and folks were concerned about people from outside the community coming in the community and taking it over, right? And we had to deal with that, right? And assure them that this is assistance to everyone. And Angela, I want to say you've done a enormous job. I mean, you really have, on making the community feel secure and comfortable and engaged in this process. So thank you very much, and everybody from your organization. But I also want to thank both of you guys, because you guys have done a great job too. I mean, you've gone beyond the duty, like trying to get extra folks jobs, right? Trying to get more businesses money in the community to grow. I mean, you all just been fantastic in doing that over here. So I really appreciate that. Also, I want to thank you for having the advisory council from the hatchery, and including people from the community, and asking folks like myself and Angela and other folks from the community who you think would think more about the whole community and being involved. And I mean, you put some great people in there, and I want to thank those folks for taking out of their time,
Right.
you know, to help with this. So, you know, this is probably one of the projects in the world where there's like hundreds of people involved,
Right.
from all walks of life, you know, from all walks of life that's involved with this project. I mean, it touches so many folks that's involved with this.
That council has already made this a better project, and it's more quickly integrated it right into the fabric of the neighborhood. So, you know, it's been a pleasure for us to not only be a part of the show today, but to work with you in your office. So, I mean, thanks for the support you've given the hatchery and each of our organizations even before this project happened. It wouldn't be here without you having the vision to build this with us. Because, you know, it was just a wild and crazy idea a few years ago, right? It didn't have to work out right unless we all had the vision and the determination to stick with it. And we have. And now you're going to see it open in just a couple of short months.
I agree with that completely. So we appreciate all of your help. Really appreciate your help. Steve's a wonderful partner. And yet with all of that we've been talking about, that's all just a race to get to the starting line. And then it actually starts after that, and we actually have a building and an operation to run and entrepreneurs to serve. It seems like an awful lot of work just to start, but it's really fun and really well worth it. And frankly, in the way that you just said it, the most valuable part of all of this for me personally has been getting to know so many interesting, smart people in Garfield Park and on the rest of the West Side that I may or may not have had an opportunity to meet otherwise, but I've loved it. And so I can only imagine how much better it's going to get when we actually have the building open.
Well, thank you, Alderman, my partners, and my community. I really appreciate having the opportunity to be of service.
So one of the things I hope that people take from this, one that, you put a lot of people together coming from different walks of life, they can make something good happen, right? But the other thing is that folks need not to be afraid to build, develop, and do things on the West Side. The West Side is happening, it's a lot of great things, a lot of great people, and this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of what's to come over here on the West Side. So I want to thank you all very much, and appreciate everything you all do. And I know God is involved with this. So after 50 years from the riots to this, it couldn't be any better.
Yeah, it's
So
that
thank
time.
Thank
and
you,
ladies,
Alderman.
no problem. And thank you all for coming on the show also.
Mm-hmm.
So ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna sign off. I have my guest, Brad McConnell from Accion, Angela Taylor from the Garfield Park Community Council, and Steve DeBretto from ICNC. We want to thank them and thank all of the construction workers with all of the noise in the background. And we want to thank the folks who's filming. We'd like to thank our production crew, camera. I'd like to just thank everybody. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching Network 27. We'll see you next month.